I'm selling Haaland, and I've got 3 free transfers to spread the funds. Eze's getting sold as well because he's been ruled out. Not only are you going to get to hear my transfer plans, you're going to get to see my captaincy matrix and the best fixtures for attackers and defenders. I'm also going to tell you the best players to bring in from each position. First up in goal is Flecken. He's been underwhelming yet again. There has been a lack of clean sheets for Brentford, but from this point onwards, if I was picking a goalkeeper, if we take a look at the fixture difficulty ratings, I can't see any alternatives that stand out as better options for the potential points per million. So if I was wildcarding, whilst I don't think Flecken's a great option, I don't think any of the goalkeepers are, and I probably still would bring him in. Moving on to defence, Trent blanked away at Arsenal last game week, which is what I expected. He's now got 2 home matches against Brighton and Villa. They're alright fixtures, they're not too bad because they're at Anfield, but then they've got Southampton away from home, and I really fancy them in that. So I'm going to keep Trent for the next 3 matches. I might possibly sell him before City at home, but that is still a long shot. He has only got 1 attacking return since the start of the season, but his underlying stats imply that he should have got at least 3.2. So hopefully those attacking returns will start coming soon, along with the clean sheets. Next up is Gabriel, who I expected to blank last game week in the same fixture as Trent, and he did. Now unfortunately he did pick up an injury, and he's not 100% guaranteed to play in this fixture, but the comments that Arteta made were quite promising, so he should hopefully play. The problem is, it is Arteta, and he can be quite deceiving. Lastly in defence is Gvardiol. He got a clean sheet against Southampton at home last game week like I expected, but he did come away with a 9-pointer, which was 3 bonus points in there as well. And that means he's got 19 points in the last 2 game weeks and 29 points in the last 4 game weeks. He's potentially injured just like Gabriel. We got absolutely no update from Pep in his press conference, but to be fair, if you look at my bench, I've got Fass against Ipswich away and Harwood Bellis against Everton at home. They're pretty decent fixtures from defensive perspectives, they're just not strong defences. João Pedro's the last player on my bench. He's back in training, but he has got Liverpool away this game week, which is why he's 3rd on the bench. I don't think he'll come near my first team next game week either, when he's got City at home. Before we move on, if I was to bring in a defender this game week, I'd actually bring in Mykolenko. He's 4.3 mil. Everton's got some of the best defensive fixtures. And of course, Branthwaite's back in the team. If you've not already seen my thread on Twitter, go and have a look at it of Everton with and without Branthwaite. The difference he makes is significant. Moving on to midfield, Eze is currently holding a spot for either Son or Palmer. There has been promising comments from Postecoglou about Son, and there's a good chance I might captain him next game week against Ipswich at home, but Salah is in the running for captaincy, so don't hold me to that one. If we take a look at the fixture difficulty ratings, we can see that Son has better fixtures for the next 2 game weeks. That's 2 home fixtures, including Ipswich. Then if you look at game week 12, he's got City away, whilst Palmer's got Leicester away, so of course I'd jump onto Palmer. Then he's got Villa at home, which isn't too bad. And then he's got Southampton away, which of course is very favourable. Next up in midfield is Rodgers. Now I wouldn't really like to sell him because I've made 0.4 mil, but he's got Spurs away, then Liverpool away, so he is a player that might possibly sell this game week. Then you might laugh at this. I am thinking of bringing Bruno back in. It's Chelsea at home this game week, which isn't too bad from an attacking perspective, but then Leicester at home, Ipswich away, then Everton at home. They're favourable fixtures, and his underlying stats imply that he's been expected to get an attacking return every other match up until this point this season. With those easy fixtures, surely he'll make the most of them. I have considered keeping Rodgers as the 8th attacker on the bench. The problem is, I do want 7 strong attackers if that's the case. I'd have to go with 3 forwards, and I prefer the midfield options. Next up is McNeil. He's another player that's not guaranteed to start, but he has had positive comments in the press conference, and I am going to keep him because Everton's got the easiest fixtures, especially up until game week 15. Penultimately in midfield is Salah. Now I did say last game week that Arsenal away would usually be a difficult fixture from an attacking perspective, but with Saliba being sidelined, I did say it wouldn't be quite as difficult for Liverpool, and Salah did come away with a 10-pointer. That was more than I expected, and it's Brighton at Anfield this game week. Salah's in the running for captaincy this game week. I'm not going to give more information than that away because there will be people watching this video that's not already watched the best captain video. Lastly, midfield is Mbumo. Every single game week for the last 5 game weeks I've been banging on about how good of an option he is, and he's just come away with a 15-pointer. I keep saying buy him as soon as possible. I'm going to say it again this game week. Buy him as soon as possible. He's one of the best options in the game, especially for points per million. In fact, he's even in the running for captaincy in game week 13 against Leicester at home. I'd say right now he's actually leading the pack. I've still got Calvert-Lewin up front. He's still got the best fixtures in the league. and he's still failing to deliver on every single match that I own him. He got subbed off towards the end of the game last game week. Beto came on and scored, so his position is a bit of a risk, but he does have a positive indirect impact on the team, and it's those fixtures that keep me coming back, so I'm not going to sell him, but I do think his position is at risk. If I was Dyche, I would start Beto. I think your number one job as a forward is to score goals. Calvert-Lewin just keeps missing the chances. I think Beto deserves a run. It's a good job I'm not Dyche because that wouldn't help my FPL team. He is one of Dyche's favourites, which is why his expected minutes aren't too bad. In fact, is it really a good job that I'm not Dyche? Because then I'd be forced to sell him, which would cure my headache. Anyway, enough of the ranting. The main player to talk about this game week is Haaland. If you've not already watched my best captain video, I advise pausing this, going watching that and then coming back to this point. The reason I'm selling Haaland isn't because of his lack of output recently. I'd say that's more recency bias. The reason I'm selling him is because of my captaincy matrix. He's not at the top for any of the next 4 game weeks for me. Obviously that's subject to change. Even if he does get the captaincy armband for 1 game week, is he really worth having over 15 mil tied up in the team? I still don't think he'd be worth it. There's such a high risk on low points per million there. I'd rather sell him and spread the funds, especially with free transfers. Obviously be keeping Salah this game week because he's my favourite captain. I might possibly captain him in game week 12, that's subject to change, let's just see. But obviously that's one of my premium spots. Then of course, if I do get Son this game week, he can be my captain in game week 11. He takes a second premium spot. Then the second premium spot would move on to Palmer if I was to bring him in game week 12, which I probably will do. So the 2 transfers I've already discussed are Rodgers to Bruno, Eze to Palmer, and the last one is probably going to be Solanke in for Haaland. I don't think there are many forward options, so if you're going to bring in any forward this game week, I personally bring in Solanke. Like always, these transfers aren't locked in yet. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, where you'll get my locked in team reveal in good time before the deadline. Also, this is a rare reveal of my captaincy matrix. I've got this and other exclusive content over on my Patreon, which is in the description. Head over there if you want to get exclusive benefits and you want to support the channel.